Hi all, it's Kylie from Kylie's Cardcraft again. Thanks for joining me. Going to do something a little bit different today. None of our folding or flipping or anything else. Just we'll have a break from it for a while. The last one was a big one. Wanted to do some altered paper clips. I needed some the other day for a journal I was working on, and I thought, I know there's lots out there with altered paper clips, but there's so many new people coming into the industry all the time. I thought we'd do a refresher. So I've just done up a couple of quick ones now, fancy ones. They're almost clusters. So what I thought we'd do is we will do a basic one, just a very basic one, and then we'll advance on them both ways. So paper clips come in lots of different sizes and shapes. Oh yeah, you do get different shapes, but mainly different sizes. I like for my big paper clips, so both of these have been done with these, which are a 50mm paper clip. So you're looking, let's find one that's not attached. A nice big size. When I'm, when I'm generally working and tacking all my journals and putting pages together and all the rest, I've just got a little container that I actually fill up from a big container, and these are just I keep tucking them back in this. They are, let's have a look, they're about a 30mm. So I've got 28mm and 30mm, 50mm. I have gold ones that are about, they're the same size, so they're a 50mm, which is about 2.5 inches if we're looking inches wise. I have a real thing for paper clips because I can do so much with them. So what we'll do, I'll work in the big ones today because they're easier to see on camera, if that makes sense. So I'll pop those to the side and we will just work on the 50mm ones. Tuck those to the side. So there's your standard paper clip. Always better to use the plain metal ones. They can be the coloured metal ones if you like, but not the plastic wrapped ones. They make them thicker. They're thicker in your journals, harder to adhere to and all the rest. So just your good old plain metal ones. Paper clips are everywhere. They're in your $2 shops, your Dollar Tree if you're in America, office supplies, even supermarkets. So, and it's just a matter of tracking them down. It's a good idea to have different sizes. So what we'll do is, as I said, we'll just do a basic one to start with. This is just copy paper. You know me by now. I've always got copy paper sitting on my desk. So I just want, I don't know, about an inch, bit over an inch, like so. And I want it just a little bit smaller than my paper clip in length. So no great measurement, and it's not straight. Okay, this is what we've got. So we're going to fold our paper clip in and roll this. Try and do it a little bit straight, like so. Okay, so all I've done is folded my paper clip into the paper. Little bit of glue down here. You can use double-sided tape if you want. Glue works just as well. Depends on, look, if I'm working on quickness, sometimes I will just put a little tiny piece of double-sided tape down on that edge, fold that over. At this stage, I usually pull my paper clip out so that I can push it down so that I've got it nice and tight. I will then straighten my edges because I never roll straight. So now what I've got, if I flick him out, is like a little tube. Okay, so our paper clip now, when we wipe off the glue, feel that coming out. There we go. I've lost my stamps. So now when we pop this back in, instead of popping the whole paper clip in, we want the long end so that the short end is left out. So tuck your long end into that tube so that your short end stays out like so. Okay, now because I'm just going to do this one as a standard paper clip without all the rest of them, what I want to do with this one is have it so that this is where we've joined it, so that that piece is behind my little one. Okay, because that's what will attach. There we go, let's have a look. So, all right, so that's what will attach to the top of your page, like so. Okay, so that what you'll see on the other side is that. You can add beads and bits and bobs to it, but you've got a flat surface on this side. Oh, sit that over there. So this is what we want to decorate. I'm going to pull my paper clip out because it's easier at the time. Now, if I wanted to, I could have stamped the whole thing first. I could have done it in pattern to paper, could have done it in anything. But I've picked up this because this was all I had sitting right beside me at the time. So, you know I always work in copy paper, but then I don't like the white of copy paper. So I've just picked up brushed corduroy, which is a mid brown in the distress ink, just to change the colour of it and give myself a little bit of background so that it's not white. And I will do the other side as well, just so that I know it's done. And down my edges. So if you look at it sideways, it's still got that colour. Okay, don't need much on that side because you won't really see it. So now I've got a background as such going on. Just wipe that from there. Probably should have cleaned my mat to start with. Okay, again, I could put anything. Let's just do a very quick and easy on that. Let's go fabric. A little bit of hessian, maybe. Got a little piece of hessian here that's been, I don't know, pulled off a pocket or something like that. So if I just snip this, pull out a couple of bits, like so, I can adhere that on there. So it would have just been showing the white through. You'll notice the difference. That's with the brown background, that's with the white background. I'll bring it up closer. So you'll see the difference behind, and that's why I usually ink just for my backgrounds of showing through. So a little bit of fabric glue, and I'll just run a bit all the way, oh, not a bit, a lot. New glue bottle, because my other one finally ran out. And I'll just very quickly stick that on there. And of course this is me, so I'll have to stamp something, and I'll pick all that off later on. And let's have a look. I'll grab, it's all right, I'm just looking at some little, how about we try something like that? So if I get some coffee paper, so just my coffee or tea dyed paper, just a little piece of scrap, and I don't need much. That should fit that on. Yep, beautiful. And I will do that in coffee archival ink as well. So it's just a little wooden stamp from Stamp It in Australia, 2005. So it's, I've had it for a while. Just ink that up, stamp that on, so it's just a little pair of gloves. And what I'll do from that is we'll just tear a little bit that side and that side, Try and tear a little bit off these edges, just to give it a little bit more of a look. Take that bit away. Right. So this is just my walnut stain, which is my darkest stain. I'm just literally sitting it on the edge, just so that I can give that edge a little bit of a pop. And I'll get rid of that. A little bit of fabric glue again, because I'm going back onto that hessian. Now it's dried on the top. All right, so from that, if I put this one back in here, the big side in, little side out. So now I've got your basic altered paper clip. So with this one, I can go like that. And I've got that sort of thing. That's all there is to an altered paper clip. From there, you can expand it so much more. So what we're going to do now is take it the next step. Okay, so again, with our 50mm paper clips, got to get that off there, because I'm going to keep picking those ones up, aren't I? Right, move my stamped image, move my inks back around. So we'll just do the same sort of thing as that one. I've just got some digitals here, and they're literally from a maritime book that from, I don't know, in the 40s. And I've cut out the pieces I wanted and then photocopied them and just kept printing them out, because they're bits that I use all the time. I love numbers, so I have that printed out in white, where I've printed it out in the colour, which has given me the book page colour, and I've printed it just in black on craft cardstock. So these are just bits that I've cut out. You can see, you know, this is where this belongs to that. So that one is actually that one. So I'll use the other side of it this time, which is this, quite wide. I'll trim that line down onto the edge of that one, just to straighten it up a little bit, because I don't think it was straight to start with. That's pretty good. All right, just go around that in my darker ink. Nice and quick again, but a little bit different, and we've made it more into a cluster, but it's still a paper clip to go on your page. So that's our basic for that one. We'll need to do exactly the same as we did last time with our paper clip. So we start the same way each time. Right about that. Folding that in. Like so. Kind of straight. That's all right. Put my glue on the edge there. Adhere that down. Give him a squeeze. Take out your paper clip again. Give him a nice little squeeze. Trim it up so that it's nice and even. Right. So this time, whereas I last time had my large side on there, we're going to put it this side so that we're looking at that, because this is the side you'll see once it's attached, once it goes back in. Okay, and we'll adhere it down that side. So we'll tuck him aside, he's all ready to go. and we'll decorate this one up. Now, with the other one, I've put a little bit of lace on, and it's just... I went shopping the other day. I went to a market, and there was a lady there with lace doilies. I love lace doilies. She had a big tub of them, so I bought a whole heap of lace doilies. And then I found the best. Look at that. That's lace. I'll be using it until the cows come home. But that's lace. So I'm just going to use some of this. So I've just chopped off a little piece. Now for this, it's too large. So what I want to do is just trim this straight down here. And I'll still use both pieces of this lace. Set that to the side, and I've now got that. With my sewing machine, I'm going to run a gathering stitch, or just a long stitch, so that I can pull it to gather it up. Makes it for an more even gathering piece, so you can see it on this one. Okay, if you don't have a sewing machine, that's fine. Just hand stitch a long straight stitch there, and then you can pull it up. So just bear with me. I'll turn straight around. I'm not going to take you to the sewing machine because it is just beside me, and I'll run straight through that one. So it's just on a really long stitch. Last little bit. This one's probably longer than my last one. All right. So that was on a long stitch. I think on my machine it's about a 5, whatever that means. So right side of my lace, wrong side of my lace. One side of your thread will pull through that side and just tie a knot in it. Okay, so that then you don't... Oh, I probably need bigger glasses on for this. There we go. So I just want to tie a knot, you know, 1 and 2, just to it so that my thread doesn't pull back through. And I'll trim that off. And then with my other end, if I can get them, I'll pull one thread and see how that thread's gathering up. So it's just a normal gather stitch, but it means you'll get a straight gather. But as I said, you can do it by hand as well. Just going to gather that bit up so that it's about the same length as that. I want to go right to the end. Right, and for quickness with this one, you could use your fabric glue, but I find it's easier with double-sided tape. Ah, there it is. So I've got some score tape here, so it's a stronger tape, and I'll just run that straight down the bottom, like so. Turn that over. Trim it off. Right, and then I can start. Again, look at which way your lace goes. The lace goes that way. So all I'm doing is putting that on. Rearranging my gather stitch if I need to as I go through. Pulling the last bit. Right, and then all I can do again is just tie that one off again, so it doesn't want to come undone, because it is at the back. It doesn't get touched much because once it's attached to your page, it's attached to your page, but with a paper clip so it can come off. So it just gives you that second warranty that nothing's going to fall apart. Right. So now I've got a nice little gathered stitch going down there. How easy is that? Right, so with just a floral. It's all white. It is the same as the one I used for this one. So because it was so white, and you know me and white, I'm just going to grab a little bit of antique linen, just in the ink, and very lightly just dirty it up, I suppose would be the best word for it. So I'm just taking that starkness of white off, because this is not white anyway. As I said, it was photocopied straight from the book, so it was creamed because it was an older book anyway. So now we're not looking at white. Once again, this is my walnut stain. There's a little bit left on the actual blending tool, and I'm just going on the edges, 1 to make it pop and 2 to take that whiteness out. Okay, so straight in. Just working my way around the side like so. Okay, nice and easy. We'll stick that one on. Okay. Might go that way. Give him a push. Now I like to add my numbers whenever I'm putting florals or anything on. Again, the number I used was from the, and they were the stamps I knocked down a while ago, from the Witchcraft Do You Do ones. What number did I use before? 729. Let's find a different number, but I want a small one, so we'll go that one. My block is sitting just there, and I'm just going to put it on a piece of book page, something like that. So you can see it's just a piece that I've cut off. It's been where I've checked colours and all the rest, and I want to do it in the same sort of green. So I'm actually using an Adirondack Meadow. I don't think they do the Adirondacks anymore. Just a Ranger one. They're from quite a while ago, but I just love them. But just a green. Just to sort that one out. Straight down. Give him a little bit of a rock. Right. That one to the side. Trim this one up. Make him a little bit narrower so he doesn't take the whole part, and it's there. It's there for you to see. It's a little bit of, I don't know, eye candy. Hang on, let me get rid of that. But you don't want it to completely overtake the rest of the, I was going to say the page. We're not working on a page. We're working on a paper clip. Cluster, whatever. Right, little bit of glue on that one. Okay. Fold that over. Down like that. And now it's just a matter of adhering our paper clip. So our paper clip goes that way in your page. This one's going to stick like that. But I want the little bit of end of the paper clip at the top, and I'll show you why in a moment. So I'll just, again, you could use glue, you can use your double-sided tape. For quickness, I'll use my double-sided tape. If you're using glue, make sure you hold it long enough to actually adhere. Somewhere in the middle. Again, that's why I like my grids. Right, that's now adhered on. This is a little bit of lace that I cut off that section a while ago. As I said, we will use all of it. So with that little bit, I'll just fold him in there and tie it in a knot. As I said, this one's longer than my other one, so we'll trim it up. So I've just got a single knot in that. Give them a V. And now you've got that one. How quick and easy is that? And from that, well, I'll grab this page again. Just grab another page ready to do. I've already glued my page. This is an altered book, but I'm gluing my pages together, taking out so many, gluing them together, and then decorating from that. So it sits up like that. It then gives you your little bit hanging out the top. I love bits hanging out the top and to the side. And you've got that like so. Okay, again, if you want to take it off, it's just nice and easy. Off he comes. Right. So that's 2. Let's do this one. Same sort of thing. Starting with our big one again. But what we're going to do this time, and here's the piece that I left behind. So this was just coffee paper. We'll start it afresh for you. Let's have a look. So, just a little piece of coffee paper. Yeah, that's a nice colour. And I'll get that. And now, this is a LeBlanche stamp. They're very detailed, but they're foam on the top. You don't need to put them on a block or anything. That foam is their block. You look at that and you think it's not going to stamp out, but it's beautiful. I only want somewhere in amongst that because I love all this detail. Not that you see much of it at the end. So I'll just turn it over, ink that up. So I'm just going to use coffee again because that's what's sitting on my desk. I would have used sepia or coffee. The coffee's sitting here, so we'll use coffee. And we'll just stamp that. Don't need much. You saw how much we needed before. Right, so I've got just that. Set that to the side. Yeah, no, we'll cut it. I'll just cut this one out. Alright. So if I go up here, I've got all that, haven't I? Trim a little bit off that. Same thing again. Winding my paper clip around. See how you get that beautiful detail in there? So we might use this side because I like this bit. I'm going to take that back there. Trim it off there this time and glue it down. Take that out and glue because I've worked out the bit that I wanted. So instead of just using the plain copy paper this time, I've made an actual background on it. Tuck you back in. That way it's nice and tight. Right. Give that a push. Take it out. Trim up my rough edges because this one you're actually going to see the edges. So I'll give him a bit of a go top and bottom. And a little bit down the side, just so that it looks handled, I suppose would be the word. And this time, instead of having that all at the back, we're going to actually make that a part of our focal point. Okay, so all we've got in this one, and we'll grab one of those doilies. There we go. And it's just these that I've trimmed off, so we'll trim a bit off that one. As I said, I love all the lace doilies and runners and all the rest. All right, trim those bits off. All right, so we get all our elements together. Move that to the side. And I want a little bit of cheesecloth. So I've got a pile of cheesecloth in here that I've tea dyed. So we'll grab where that starts. Probably got some sitting on my desk, if truth be known. Just take a chunk. because I can always cut it down. Right. That back in there. And I just want some bits and bobs. So I will start working on this. That back in there. So this time I want it in, but I want my edge out. Is it going to go back in, or have I made him a little bit too tight? Ah, that's what I've done. Folded that bit over when I was pushing him in. There we go. Right. Like so. Like that. Okay. So this time we're going to start decorating our front piece. And this was off what I was talking about before. It's off all that. So just in the craft cardstock this time. Once again, I've torn it up. And I just want a little piece up to the other side. Like so. Rough up my edges. On here like that. And then with my, and I didn't bring them over, just excuse me while I reach across for my little containers. And I have my normal little add-ons container, which is just full of little bits. So they could be little bits that I've cut off the top of tickets. And they're little Tim Holtz numbers, they're little labels. I even have little bits of lace. We might play with that one in there as well. And something a little bit, I like those colours, but they might be, all right, we'll play with that. How's that? Right, so I have this, I have a little bit of that. Just gonna get rid of some of that. I can always trim it off further. What's going to happen with this one is this will now go in like so. So that's sitting in here like that. And it's nice and tight, so technically you don't need to adhere it in. Don't think I have. I know what I did right at the end. I just pulled it aside and popped a little bit of glue down there. But in all honesty, you don't really need to glue that in at all because it's so tight behind your paper clip. So it's just a matter now of playing and cutting. I'll put that one in there. Oh, no, I've got some little cream lace there. I like that one a bit better. We'll make it a little bit grubby, just so that it looks handled. So I've picked up my brushed corduroy one and now my walnut stone one, and I just want to grubby it up. Is that a word? I know what I mean. So really dark down there. Stretch it out. Make it look loved or unloved. So all I'm doing is playing with where I want them. And then it's just a matter of gluing. Yeah, like that, because I just want it as a cluster. So it's as I said before, it's just a matter now of gluing it down. So I'll pull them all apart again now. I always sit them together and then pull them apart. So I want that glued onto there to start with. Get rid of that. Little bit of glue just in my fabric glue. I'll scrunch that into there. Oh, what a mess. Yep, well, it's gluing. I'm everywhere, I'm everywhere. I want that out like that. I'm going to trim all that up in a moment. All right, I'll just put another little dob in there. Oh, look at the string coming from it. A little bit in there, but I want that guy to sit in there first. So, he's somewhere around there. Just somewhere. I know he was in there somewhere. That's all that really matters. At least turn my numbers upside down. Just so that the edge tucks out once I'm all in there. Little bit of messy lace in there. Oh yeah, that's really coming out, isn't it? Pop that one in there like that. And this one in here. So really it is, as I said before, it's just a cluster. That's the bit just coming out of the top of the... with all my bits that are floating around. So really, these are just bits that have been sitting on my desk and I've just trimmed off the last little bit. So this one and this one. Yes, this one's come off a sheet. That was a little bit of lace that's been sitting around from where I've done something else. I think it was from the last tutorial and it's still sitting on my desk. I've got my doily as a background, which I actually think I might have put on the wrong way around. I quite like all that. So, with our book, again, so let's open up a page again. Any of these ones will do. And what we've done, we have this one. Turn it over so I can see where I'm going. How about that? As I said, that's quite tight in there. I've got that one. I can sit it right up or I can push it down. And we've got that one. How are those? Quick and easy, altered paper clips. You've got to love them. They're a great way to use up all the bits that are sitting on your desk. Really, very little thought goes into them. So, you know, that was that one. That was that one. They're great. I'll have them sitting so that I've got a little container of them, especially these sorts of ones, because you can add charms off that. This one, the same thing. You could have little danglies hanging off that if you leave your tops and your bottoms showing. I've threaded them before with like little seed bead type things. You've got to watch your beads that they'll fit on there to start with. But I hope you've all enjoyed that. As I said, something a little bit different today. No folds, no flaps, no templates. Just straight off the fly. So thank you all for coming along. Hope you've enjoyed it. And until next time, happy crafting. Thank you. Bye.